So for example 3, we are given the following equation. We are told x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 4y minus 16 is equal to 0. And so this is an equation. That means that the x and y values in this equation, when plugged in, will add up and equal 0. Okay? So we are asked to find, we're told it's a circle, but it says find the center of the circle and then graph. So to find the center, we're really looking for h and k, right? And to graph it, I'll need h and k and the radius. So in essence, what they want us to find is h, k, that's the center, and the radius. So I want to make this thing look like this, somehow, some sort of way. Okay? So I start with the original equation. I could do most of this algebraically to make it look like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I notice that in this equation there's a constant, usually a number over here, so I'm going to add 16 to both sides. These will cancel and I will get 16 over here. Now I've got an x squared and a minus 8x. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as x squared minus 8x, right? And then over here I'm going to put y squared, positive y squared, and a positive 4y. Now I'm just writing it that way just to kind of, well, you'll see in a second, help me out. So what I'm going to do is a thing called completing the square. These are squares. This is a binomial that's squared, and so what I want to do is I want to write a perfect square for this expression. I'm going to add a number here, but it's okay if I add a number here so long as I add it over here. Same thing, I'm going to add a number here, and it's okay as long as I add a number here. Now the trick to this is I'm going to take half of this number, so we're going to do a little side note. I'm going to say negative 8 divided by 2 and square it. So negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4, and then I'm going to square that, so that's a positive 16. Okay? So because I add 16 here, guess what? I have to add 16 over here. Okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing here. This middle term, this 4y, I'm going to take 4, divide it by 2, and square it. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So I'm going to add 4 here. Whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do on the other. Now by arranging it this way, this becomes x minus 4, this term right here, squared. And you might say, well, you seem like an honest person, Mr. Adams. Is that really true? And let's find out. So if I say x minus 4 squared, what I'm really doing is saying x minus 4 times x minus 4. So then x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. And then negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. So that becomes x squared plus, minus 8x plus 16. So this becomes this. And this is what I want because it looks like this. You're going to add that to this square, which is going to be y, and then the 1/2, which is the 2, plus 2 squared. So by purposefully taking this middle term, dividing it by 2, and squaring it, then adding it in, I'm creating a perfect square. So let's double check that. Y plus 2 times y plus 2, let me slide that up a little bit. I get y squared 2y plus a positive 2y, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So I get y squared plus 2y plus 2y plus 4, which is y squared plus 4y plus 4. So I purposefully picked out this 4 and added it so I could break it down and make it look like this. Now over here I've got 16 plus 16, which is 32, plus 4 is 36. Now remember, I need to find h and k and all that stuff, and then the radius. Well, h is just 4. But k is equal to negative 2, because remember, our original formula has a negative sign, and this is positive. So the only way I can end up with a positive number is I have to say negative negative 2. Okay? And then the square root of 36 is just 6. Remember that 6 squared equals 36. And we want what the radius is. So now I have my center of the circle and the radius of the circle. Now I'm just going to sketch it on this one piece of paper because I don't want to disrupt the flow of learning on this particular paper, and I'm going to have to use a pen because my pencil just ran out of ink. So we have the XY plane like this here. I'm not drawing to scale, but the center is 4, 2. So I'm going to go all the way over 4, and so this is my center, which is 4, 2, and then the radius would be 6. So it would kind of look like this, where this is the center, 4, oh, it's 4, negative 2. Ah, shoot. Let's just sketch it out. So to graph this thing, remember the equation was x minus 4 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 36. So that means that x minus 4 squared plus y minus minus 2, that's how we get the positive, squared is equal to 6 squared. So the second line is exactly the same as the first line. So that means that my center of the circle is 4, negative 2. And that my radius is 6. Okay? So now if I want to graph this thing, I'm going to carefully draw my XY plane. Like this. And I'm going to find the center of the circle, so I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to come down 2. So this is my center of the circle, which is 4, negative 2. Now the radius is 6, so a great way to kind of sketch this is I'm going to go from my center and I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, put a little dot there. From here I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what I'm doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is I'm just sketching where the circle is going to cross through. So 4, 5, 6. So my circle is basically going to go through these 4 points. And if I used a compass, it would look a lot better, but we're just sketching this out. Okay? And so that is a radius of 6. And that's it. Okay?